Good morning and War Eagle, everybody. We are back, the War Report, for our Ole Miss pregame show. Listen. All right, formalities out of the way. YouTube, make sure you liking and subscribing to the channel, of course. If you're on Twitter and Instagram, you can hit us up at the War Report. TikTok, we are TW Report. Fellas, we are here, game day, playing against Ole Miss. Just heard the news from B. Will. I need to stay up on my news wire, apparently, that Ole Miss has several players that have COVID tested, and so therefore they will have to play offensive players or backups in their role on defense. What are we feeling about our chances now? Mike G had to drop out there. He'll probably hop back in a second.
I'm excited. I'm not excited. I'm. That means we should look really good on offense, which of course is going to hide the fact of how terrible Bo Nix is. So we won't really get the grading out that we should get on Bo. We should be able to just overrun these guys physically with the run game and dominate to the point where our defense just has to make enough stops. We should be able to control time, control tempo, keep our defense fresh enough to stifle them enough, because Lane's going to have to put up some points. But I am not encouraged by that because I want to see Bo look bad, and we probably won't get to see that today, to further put an indictment on Gus for choosing him on Bo as the quarterback. So we probably won't get to see it with them having so many relief players on defense, but we should get a win. So I guess that's the silver lining.
Yeah, I think I really just hope their quarterback has a repeat performance but for whatever reason, we don't get them multiple turnover quarterback performances against us. They bring their A game when they come to play us, and everybody else they want to, just give handouts. But he threw 6 picks last week, right? Like, can I just get half of them this week? Just half. I don't.
Just two. I think two.
Yeah, but we'll see how it goes. Caesar, what you feeling like? We haven't really specifically talked about keys to the game, but I will start with you on that. Keys to the game, keys to victory today, and Mike will give us his keys to us losing since he picked us to lose.
Tank Bigsby, him, Williams, our running back core. I hear Shivers maybe be back today.
Yeah.
I think that the key is going to be the run game. Malzahn said that we're going to basically see more run, which is code word for I'm taking over the offense and doing it my old-fashioned way. So we're going to see the Auburn offense of old, and again, Malzahn's offense works against inferior defenses. It's when we get to the Georgias and the Alabamas where we just get shut down cold. So Auburn's going to look like the Auburn of old, where we actually beat up on teams we should be beating up on. And given that Ole Miss has players on the defensive side who tested positive, that actually sets up well for us. I felt, again, this is to B's point. I know you want to see Malzahn continue to get exposed, but this is what has frustrated us the most about Malzahn. Once we're all off the bus, he starts to get the bus rolling for some strange reason. He just waits for everybody to get off the bus and then he takes off. And this has just been the summary of the 8 years we've had, Gus.
What's clear about this right now is that the Chad Morris offense requires a quarterback that we don't have. And so Gus, unfortunately, will probably have to take over and install more of his offense just because that's the offense that Bo Nix can actually run. He can't run Chad Morris's offense. He doesn't have the ability to read defenses the way that he should in order to make it a good situation for us. So putting it in his hands to be able to be the guy that's going to make the right call, the right decision, it just has not worked out well so far. And in order for us to get to the point where it is working on a consistent basis, they're going to have to trust a different quarterback. And I don't think that they're ready to do that yet. So I'm going to bring Mike G back in here. Mike G, how are you feeling about today's prospects, knowing Ole Miss is going to be a little shorthanded on defense? Likely we're going to have Gus Malzahn do some more of the play calling, and likely Bo Nix is still going to be the starter. How you feeling?
Same as I did last week. I'm just not sure we can generate enough offense to win this game versus the offense that they're going to generate. Their quarterback has thrown for over 1,000 yards this season. Ours isn't near that, right? Our red zone offense in particular is not that great. So we
haven't seen the red zone very often this year.
That's
You know,
true.
but
Yeah.
when they do get inside the 20, similar was the symptom that we had last year on offense, where if somebody got tackled at the 3-yard line, we had serious doubts about whether this offense could get 3 yards into the end zone. So, how I'm feeling today is I hope to see a heavy dose of Tank Bixby. I hope they come up with some creative ways to integrate him into the offense today. I don't think we've really seen Tank catch any passes out of the backfield.
One or two. I mean, those little dump off. I'm in a ton of trouble from Nick's, especially in the Georgia game late, right? Like he was in a ton of trouble. He just throw it to Tank. Tank had a couple of like one hand off the body type catches. He can clearly catch the ball and get in when he's in space, do some things with it. So hopefully that is going to be a part of our offense today. Screen game. Hey, we might actually get to see, 4 running backs see time today. They said Mark Anthony Richards is as healthy as he's been in a while. He might actually touch the field today. We'll see.
I've given up on development from Bo Nix. Right,
I think Bo Nix gave up on development of himself, so that's not unfair.
He's done.
Yeah.
He is what he is. What we've seen is what he is, and we're never going to get better than that.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure why we're talking about this guy still.
Yeah, we essentially have to win in spite of him, right? Like at this point. That being said, he may have a big day today. I just don't think that it will mean anything.
Correct.
Because we are not seeing the consistency from him from game to game, and now again, a lot of the pundits and the sports writers are starting to write that now. Is this the best that we are going to get from Bo Nix? The expectations were set high, and Gus put a lot on Bo last year after we beat Bama, talking about how he was going to win championships before he left here and all this stuff. But there are a lot of other factors involved, and I'm not sure they know how to get him to take the next step based on what we saw last week with the poor situational awareness at the end of the halves, and at the end of the second half, particularly when the game was on the line. You have to know what to you have to make the play that gives us a chance. So even if the play got blown up, there's no excuse for him trying to run for a first down or try to run it in the end zone 20 yards out, when it's the last play of the game. You're not Cam Newton, so you're not going to run over 5 people on the way to the end zone. Like I said, I'll leave it at that on both. I just feel like we have to. The best way for Auburn to win this game is to run the ball and keep Ole Miss as offense off the field. Right. Help our defense, because they've had their struggles at times this year, but they've shown, flashes of what they could be. And then defensively, this quarterback will throw you the ball every once in a while, right? Corral will throw a couple of interceptable passes, and being able to take advantage of that, possibly give our offense a short field, is a way that we win this game.
Yeah, I think that's the key for me, honestly. It is whether or not our defense can generate turnovers. If we're able to get the offense short fields, I feel really good about our chances in this game. And like you said, ball control has got to be the name of the game on offense. We need to make it where we squeeze that clock as dry as possible, get some scores, and then make them have to throw the ball in volume and hope that decides he doesn't know which color jersey he's supposed to be throwing the ball to.
Right.
Yeah. And I was thinking what we need is, like we've all talked about, Gus has this propensity to go short, mostly with run if his offense is working as well as he wants it to, and then big over the top. We don't need, and we probably could get away with a lot of big chunk plays because their defense is so shorthanded. But what we need is a 9-play, 75-yard drive.
Exactly.
We need a 6.5 minute, 10-play, 69-yard drive where we converted 3 third downs, and then when we were at like the 18, we had a good jump ball to set. It's like that's what we need, and I hope that they keep that in mind. Fight some of their tendencies to stop. Like we need you to keep the defense fresh, to keep Bo Nix from throwing the ball, and we can win this game. And it's a shame that we have to talk about strategizing to beat Ole Miss because they are terrible enough on defense, but we should just be able to line up and blow them off the ball. And this shouldn't be a game, honestly, if we're being real here. Kevin Steele is a good enough defensive coordinator to stifle a great offense for, 4 or 5 possessions. We should be able to stifle them for long enough. By the time they find a little bit of rhythm or a window of something to take from us,
we're up by 3 touchdowns.
And by the next time we get the ball, it doesn't matter because we've driven you into the ground. We're just going to drive you some more, and you're not going to get enough possessions to catch up. That's what I hope happens.
Right.
But I also know, and you know it, Mike, and we all know it, if Bo Nix looks a little bit not terrible, they're going to be writing his resurrection story on Sunday morning. And I hate that. But unfortunately, that's probably going to be the byproduct of a well-constructed win today.
I'm going to go to you, Caesar. I just want to go to this comment right here. If AU drops this one bad, what happens next? Let's talk about this after the game, Gabe, because I think that that's a very valid question. It's something that we've talked about on previous shows, but I think that this
bad mean? We get ran off the field, or we just lose?
I think just losing is bad enough, but like, what happens if this is a multiple score loss, right? Like, what happens if it's embarrassing? Like, what if we get a performance like we had against Georgia, where we make them look like potential, SEC West champ material, right? So let's talk about that after the game. I think that there's a lot of speculation as to what should be happening. Of course, we all know, but I think it really matters how we lose, right? Like it matters if it is another poor performance from Bo Nix that contributes to this loss primarily. If, the defense just can't get stopped. Like, I think it matters how we lose. So let's talk about that after the game. So come back post game and we will definitely address that question specifically. Caesar, what do you got for your keys here?
I got Tank. He's going to be, because ball control, everything we just said, ball control, keeping Ole Miss out of rhythm, and keeping our defense off the field. And from pretty much all season, our defense has lived on the field. And against a team like that, you don't want to give Ole Miss a lot of opportunities. You know what I mean? Right.
Appreciate that, kid.
Entertaining is a good word for it. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, and I think we're starting to develop a young cat on the D line. What's his name? What was that, B?
Is it Wooden?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're starting to see he's starting to assert himself on the D line, and so I'm excited to see some of our young talent start to get their feet up under them and begin to assert themselves, and I like that. I hope that they can start. We start to see glimpses of that against South Carolina, where they start to disrupt the other team's offense a bit, and I would like to see one of the young guys or someone on the D line start disrupting the timing of their offense. So to me, that and the running back core, we've seen the O-line starting to improve. So let's take advantage of that and just run the ball.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing for me on defense is the play of our defensive line, right? Like, how well are we going to be able, like you said, to get that penetration and actually force some of those bad throws from their quarterback without having to blitz consistently. Right. Because the one thing that we do know about Lane Kiffin and his ability to scheme is that he throws well into blitzes. He calls really great screens. He knows how to play off of tendencies for blitzes. So we need to find a way to get pressure, be disciplined, because our back end is been fairly disciplined this year, right? Like they're good at the point of the attack. They are making really good open field tackles for the most part. It's just those situations where we get out of position because we're having to blitz and people are missing their assignment on where they need to be, or we're giving too much time to the quarterback and he's able to pick apart a zone that we're playing on the back end. That's been our issues, I think, defensively. Other than stopping the run has been a hit or miss proposition as well. So we've definitely not been consistent on defense, but to Mike's point, our offense hasn't helped that defense at all, like at all. Putting them in short field positions or 3 and outs consistently don't let a defense even get an opportunity to like rest or really dig in and help you to like manage a game better field positionally. So we'll see how that goes on the defensive end. who are you expecting outside of Tank Bigsby? Because I think everybody expects a big game out of him. Who is the one guy that you want to see step up today? Not named Bo Nix, because again, we're tired of talking about that.
He won't do it anyway.
That you want to see step up. Look, this is the game where he'll probably throw for like 400, right? Like he'll probably have some ridiculous stat game. Listen, he did it last year against inferior competition. It's possible. If we're to believe he's the same Bo Nix from last year, then he's due one game where he has some ridiculous stat line, and you're like, oh, look at this, Bo Nix. Like this could be that game.
If there was gonna be one, it would be this one, yeah.
But who's the one other guy, not named Bo Nix, not named Tank Bigsby, who you want to see have a big game today and you think is due just like an amazing game, either offensive or defensively? I'll start with you, Brian.
I'm thinking to Jay's point, Wooden. He started showing on film and against a team that wasn't as terrible as we would have had them, as we would have thought they were. South Carolina's not terrible. They're very mediocre. But we need that start. We've been talking about getting that pressure as from the defensive line, somebody on that front four. You know, when it was DB and Marlon Davidson, it was interior/exterior. When it was Sensei Mud, it was exterior. But we need somebody up there to consistently create pressure. And I don't think that this game would be in doubt because we can physically dominate them from our offensive side. But I still want to see them fall back to pass a lot, which they probably will. And I want to see Wooden affect, like Jay was talking about, that defense, that offensive line. I want to see him disrupt time, and I want to see him get in the backfield for tackles. And I don't want to see Big Cat Brian just whiffing and running by guys and trying to booger scare him, because that's not actually getting the quarterback down. You're not swatting at the screens. You're not getting to the running back. You're not getting to the quarterback. We need somebody to get to their offensive players and affect them, and I'm hoping that Wooden can do that today.
All right, what you got, Mike?
Actually, I'm gonna buck the trend a little bit and not go with any one specific player. I'm just gonna say O-line. I just want to see some continued development from this O-line because that means more opportunities for Tank. It also means less opportunity for Bo to have to do whatever the hell he's gonna do, right? And there was a comment earlier about Bo being a game manager, and the only way to keep him that way is for our O-line to play well today. So defensively, it's smoke Monday. Like I want to see him have a big game today. I want to see him shut down his side of the field. And I think that big picture, I want to see them tamp down all the talking.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This team has no reason to talk at this point. I don't want them to lose their edge, but I don't even think they have an edge right now. So I'll be interested. I'll be watching to see with every player if that was something that they're coaching out, because it got brought up, right? I read it multiple places where there's just a lot of talking going on in the field without the production to back it up. So
right.
O-line, smoke Monday. I think if we can make some improvements there will at least be a base for us to move forward, and then you plug and play the other, the questionable positions. So,
yeah, I am encouraged by the fact that the O-line is finally seeming to be healthy. We probably will have the same 5 starters up front 2 games in a row, it looks like, this game. So we'll see how that bodes well for them being able to pick up assignments and actually be able, because what I did see the last game is Auburn was utilizing multiple types of run schemes, right? Like it wasn't just a zone run scheme. We were going with different run schemes. And again, the encouraging thing about that is Tank was able to do it either way, right? He's a true every down back because he's not missing a ton of blocking assignments when people are coming on blitzes.
Right.
He is able to run in multiple types of schemes, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. I just don't know where the hole in his game is right now. And as a freshman, that's super encouraging. He can only really get better if we allow him to do that and don't run him into the ground. I do want to see possibly this game be a 25 carry game. But I do think that we have enough with DJ Williams being a little more healthy, with Shivers coming back, that we shouldn't have to make Tank carry the ball every single time. DJ Williams is a talented enough back that he can come in and he can get 10 carries and be productive. He breaks tackles. He's a sure-handed guy out of the backfield as well. Shivers, we all know what he can do when he gets an opportunity to get around the edge. He's a tough tackle. He is playing really balanced that first game before getting hurt. So I do want to see the run game throw multiple guys out there at them and all of them be productive. But I think that that's definitely possible this game. Caesar, who you got?
Yeah, the problem with going last is that someone has already taken mine by now. So I'm just going to reiterate what you just said, Ike. DJ Williams is my guy.
Okay.
And we've seen flashes of brilliance from DJ Williams last year when we were shorthanded in the running back position. So we know what he's got. We know what he can do. And I think that the key to it is, while we know what we have in Tank, we want to preserve him. We're only at the midway point of the season. So I don't want to see him carrying the ball 30 times. We have too much talent behind him to do that. And if the key to the game is ball control, relying on the offensive line, then we need to use what we have in our running back core. And it starts with DJ Williams being able to allow Tank to rest and be productive to keep the chains moving. And so I'm looking at DJ Williams to show us some of that 2019 stuff that he had when we were excited about him when Booby was not producing like we wanted him to.
Cool. I'm actually going to go with two names here. The first name is going to be Capers. I actually want to see someone not named Seth Williams as a wide receiver be targeted multiple times and actually come up with catches. I think Capers has the physical tools to be able to do it. Because to the point that Gabe just mentioned about the chemistry between Seth and Bo, it does seem to be off. So if Bo is, for whatever reason, not wanting to get the ball to Seth because he feels like he's having to force it to him and is there somebody else out there who he can look to downfield who will come up with the catches? Capers has had a couple of drops this season that he probably should have come up with. And that's the same thing for Shedrick Jackson. Like, they're just not being consistent with the hands has made Bo feel like, all right, I got to go somewhere else. You've been seeing injuries with the other receivers that are out there, and then the rest of them just haven't been getting playtime. So I want to see Capers. The other person who I would like to see in this offense a little bit more, not saying I want to see a ton of wildcat from him. I want to see them get the ball. Somebody else mentioned the tight end position, but I want to see Pegues with the ball in his hands a little bit more as well. He just looks like he can be a really, really damaging guy in the open field. We need to figure out how to get the ball in his hands and to let him just rumble on some people.
A literal refrigerator running down the field.
Ole Miss has not been good tackling, so why not put a freaking monster of a man, put the ball in his hands and just make them tackle him? And he's got good feet, so it's not like you can just run at him and try to take his legs out. Like, I want to see him touch the ball 4 or 5 times, not just a wildcat touch. What you got, Caesar?
You do realize that that's the best way we can get him the ball, right?
What, the wildcat? I understand that's the best way, but we got to figure. I mean,
but same with Capers, though, right? Like, that's why I didn't pick anybody a wide receiver,
right?
Because their fortune is tied to Bo. So in relation to the comment about chemistry, to me, chemistry is not I run a slant and then the quarterback puts the ball where it's supposed to be. That's just football. Chemistry is that when Bo has to scramble, his receivers know where to go and how to help him, and then he knows how to put the ball to them in those situations. Now, we don't want to see a lot of that today because so many times he's proven that he'll make the wrong decisions, or even if the throw is there, he's going to throw it behind them, and then they start to lose confidence in him when they could have made a play. And I think that's where Seth really got frustrated with Bo last week. Was like, man, I'm open and you can't hit me, right? Even on these plays where I'm trying to bail you out. So if he didn't have it with Seth Williams, I would expect him to just all of a sudden have it with Capers. Like, it's really how much of a head case is he going to be today and in the future. So I'm with you. I would love to see another receiver step up outside of Schwartz and Seth, but too much of that is dependent on Bo and Gus and Chad Morris.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I just listen when the opportunities are there. I just want to see him seize them. And I think that's my biggest issue is that when he has gone to these other guys, they have not produced. And so it's like now he's forced to have to go back to the well over and over again to the same guys, and the defense is just like, all right, well, we just take this guy away. Who else are you going to throw the ball to, right? So
Right.
I want to see that start to make it a 4 or 5 catch game is all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for the guy to have 200 yards receiving off of 10 catches, 4 or 5 of them. Maybe he gets 6 targets and he catches 4 of them. But if the ball hits you in your hands this game, I want to see you catch it, secure it, and get upfield if you have the opportunity to, because the throw allowed it. But that's neither here nor there.
I think it's just a sad. I think it's a sad day when I'm looking forward to a traditional Gus Malzahn offense. This is how bad things have gotten for us. Is where I want to see. I want to see a run first play action style offense to get the win this game. This is where we are now, guys.
Yeah, listen, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with an ugly, what do we say, 3 yards in the cloud of dust. I'm okay with that being our game plan today, as long as we get out of here with a W. I don't want to see us drop back and throw the ball 40 times this game and have another 26 for 40 something performance from Bo Nix with multiple turnovers.
The only silver lining to it is if we find something so consistent here, if this can be the start, this can be our second half LSU in 2013, where listen, we're down just like we lost that game last week, but we got all these running backs, the O-line gels, and then we have to use both sparingly, but then we can start rolling. Like we've been trying to figure out this formula on the offensive line, and what if we just cement it? And now we've got it. And now our run game can be formidable against anybody. And we start that trek right here and hide Bo for the rest of the season and only lose 2 more games. Like that would be a win. Unfortunately, that would keep us our coach, but that would be a win. So I'm cool if that's the result.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will see.
How many pass attempts do you guys want to see today?
Under 30 attempts. 10.
I want some 1970s Pittsburgh Steelers football. That's what I want. I want some dumb you throw when I tell you to throw, and I'm not going to tell you to throw. Like that's it. That I don't want to see both.
I was going to say no more than 20.
Yeah,
under 20
yeah,
throws today.
I was going like under 30, but like closer to 25 is really what I would love to see. So we'll see. I don't know if you can get away with that in this day and age, but I definitely want to see him try. Let's defy convention for this day and age and just go out there and run the ball 40 times today with 3 different backs getting, hell, run the ball 60 times and get 20 carries apiece out of 3 different backs.
I 4 backs, get them all. Look, everybody can get something.
It was a game a couple of years ago where we ran for like 400 and something yards. I want to see one of those games where it was like multiple people got touched. It was
it was Cam Martin and Carry on.
Yeah.
Everybody got something. Yeah.
I want to see us run for almost 500. I want us to see an offensive Mississippi State had game 1 except running the ball.
Yeah.
50 runs for like 600 yards.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
KJ Britt is back on the sideline. He's with the team. He's dressed out, but he's not dressed out to play, but he's just there.
Yeah.
Maybe some of that leadership. Maybe we won't see the defensive players get so out of pocket this week.
We'll see. All right. Well, we are just about 30 minutes until game time. We will see what happens. We will be back at you all at halftime with our reaction to the first half of the game. So come right back here and join us. Hopefully we will have a couple of smiles on our face, but hey, we're not in control of that portion. We're only in control of our fandom, and it's still War Eagle every time. So we'll see y'all then. War Eagle.